I'm Matt Estridge with Fit Diesel LLC. This is Brad Boscapay. Today we're going to be teaching law enforcement single officer response to an active shooting event. We're going to do this in hallways, how to clear that room without entering that room.
This is Fit Diesel's law enforcement and military programs. I'm Matt Estridge, and I'm here to present to you today all of our law enforcement and military programs that we do in person, and we equally have the same training available online through video tutorials. So first, I want to give you an overview of the law enforcement or military active shooter response training. Due to the enormous increase in active shooter events, law enforcement agencies are going to find themselves incapable of not having a policy and technique for a single person or two-person officer entry into a building for an active shooter event. Here at Fit Diesel, we have a lot of combat proven experience from special operations military and from the federal law enforcement community, specifically in counter-terrorism, that focuses on retaking hostile environments and response to active shooting events. Here at Fit Diesel, we give an answer for how officers or agents or military personnel respond to an active shooting event. Room clearing from the exterior without ever entering it. It gives that person the ability to clear that room from the outside, make it clear and safe, and then continue on through the search and clearing process. We cover T and L intersection, and we teach one person, two people, up to multi-team. We also address the difference between responding to an active shooting event while there's active screaming and rounds being fired versus when there are no rounds being fired, no screaming, and you don't have any indication or other evidence that there's been people injured or an active shooter's been there. So two different responses. One is going to be more expedited because you need to get there quickly and you likely know where the active shooter is. The other is going to be a more methodical approach because you have not identified where the active shooter is, you do not have evidence of it, and you do not hear screaming. The next important item we teach is exterior room clear to dynamic entry. Also, I had the opportunity when I was in DC as an active shooter instructor to speak to some of the National Park Service Special Response Team individuals who actually went into the Navy Yard when they had that active shooting event, and they actually used the clearing technique from the exterior that we teach and used that to go into a dynamic entry at different points and times when it was needed, and it worked very well. They said they felt very comfortable and much safer than what we've done in previous years and just doing dynamic entry alone. Moving to stairwell clearing, we teach again one person stairwell clearing up to multi-team. Additionally, we teach how one person, two people, or multi-team comes from the exterior of the building and approaching to make entry into that building to then go to that active shooter. Now to Fit Diesel staff for law enforcement and military training. I've always found it very important to make clear the credibility of where you're coming from as an instructor. So our staff is comprised of Delta, or Combat Actions Group, SEALs, Rangers, Force Recon, federal law enforcement officer, counter-terrorism agents. Snipers from the military special operations, and law enforcement snipers. Green Berets. Infantry with several tours of duty, some being 4 and 5 tours of duty, and professional fighters. Many of these individuals I've named as well have been in the federal law enforcement community for years. They have been agents, they have been on special response teams, they have been the lead instructors for some big 3-letter agencies when it comes to the tactics and firearms. They have also been supervisors and supervisors of instructor cadre. A few of our staff were professional fighters. They have many different certifications. Many have spent 30 and 40 years training in martial arts and actively still train it, from boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Filipino martial arts. Additionally, our staff are certified federal law enforcement officer instructors. All of those certifications are either FLETC, Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, or FLETA, Federal Law Enforcement Training Accreditation certified. And the areas that they're certified in are defensive measures or defensive tactics, combatives, martial arts, firearms, tactics or close quarter battle, legal, so Fourth Amendment use of force and so on, security assessments. Now specifically, several of our counterterrorism agents do this domestically and some internationally for large facilities, 80 and 90,000 square feet or more. They do this often and they're very expert at it. Fitness. Me personally on the staff, I was a Division I strength coach, and now I'm back at the University of Tennessee as an adjunct or intern strength and conditioning coach for the Olympic side, as well as being the fitness coordinator for my office in Washington, D.C. And several of the other members are certified in different areas in fitness, whether it's a CSCS certification, whether it's a Cooper Institute certification, NASM. So our staff has a great amount of expertise, from firearms to CQB to tactics, from law enforcement high-risk search warrant experience to special operations experience. So that's where our pedigree comes from, and that's the level of instruction that you're receiving.